So now we move on to aliases. So a git alias is just a shortcut. It's a custom command, a name that we can come up with that corresponds to some existing git commands. So instead of typing git status over and over, I could type git s or git stat or git st. I can totally customize it. I can even combine certain commands or add on a bunch of options, things that get really annoying, a bunch of flags, and create a shortcut for that, where instead of typing maybe 100 characters, I might type 2 or 3 characters. So the way that we do this is we work in the global config file, or we set the alias from the command line. But there is no git alias command. Instead, we configure aliases just like we set any other property. So I'll show you a very basic example to begin with. Why don't we do git status? So instead of typing git status like this, I'm in a Git repo right now. Of course, it was not going to work if we're not in one. Well, it will work, but we won't see this sort of output. I don't know why I'm reminding you how git status works. You know that if you run it and you're not in a repo, it says not in a repo. Anyway, if I am tired of typing that, or I type it all the time, which I do, we could set up git s maybe, or st. So if I do it in the config file, I need to work under alias. So alias, square brackets, and then we just follow this syntax. S, if that's what the alias we want to be called, if we want it to be S equals, and then some known git command, like status. Now we don't need to write git status, we can just write status. It assumes the git, because we'll still need to run git s. So if I save this file, and I come over here and I type git s, it works. And if I instead change that to stat pat, I don't know why, but if that's what I want, if I try running git stat pat, there we go. But if I try something else like git that, we don't have that command, but I can fix that. Not that I really would. And I run it, and now it works. It corresponds to git status. It's running git status for us. So I would probably leave that as s or st. We could do another one for git log, and it would just look like this. L equals log. So git L would be the same as git log. Git L, and there we are. Same as git log. And that's the first most basic type of alias we can do, just a shortcut. Just save. I mean, they're all about saving characters, but these are very basic. And we could fill this out with a bunch more. I'm going to show you a second way of setting them from the command line, which some people prefer. And then we'll talk about aliases with arguments. And then I'll show you some aliases that online people have shared that I didn't write, but that I use because they're useful. So I'll show you those as well.